So you're tired of that weak, little, puny ass back of yours. You want to build a thick, juicy, sexy back that has girls turning their heads just to get a glance at your lats. So you try searching for advice on YouTube, but the problem is all these fitness influencers are saying to not do this back exercise and to do their back exercise. And then the next influencer says to not do what the other influencer said, but to do his exercise instead. So you're just left very fucking confused and you don't know who to listen to because everyone is just so conflicting. You don't know what to do. You just want something that's simple and effective, something that is easy to understand since you're a beginner after all. You just want to build a thick, juicy, aesthetic V-taper. Well, look no further. I got you. I built an aesthetic V-taper at home with minimal equipment. I didn't even have access to a gym, so it's possible. And if that sounds like you and you want to build a thick, juicy, sexy, masculine aesthetic V-taper, then it's going to be in your best interest to watch this video. If you want to make twice as fast progress in your fitness journey, click the link in the description box down below and you'll get to work with me personally. This program will get you into the best shape of your life, training at home with minimal equipment, and you get to work with me one-on-one. So click the link in the description box down below and let's get started. Before we get started, you're going to need some equipment. Yeah, I said minimal equipment. Shut up. Just listen. I know your ass probably has what I'm about to say, all right? You're going to need a backpack, and you're going to need some old books that I know you don't fucking read, and you probably borrowed them from a library, and you should return those books before they charge you. Then, if you don't have books, which you probably do, you should use water weights. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the books and the water weights into the background. You want this to be very heavy, all right? Because the exercise that I'm going to show you, there's two, and one of them requires you to use something to lift, all right? So go and do that right now. All right, the first exercise that I personally used, it wasn't pull-ups. I didn't start off with pull-ups. What I did was bent over rows. They're like the second best thing next to pull-ups. I personally used a single heavy kettlebell because that's all I had at the time. But don't worry, you will still see amazing gains with doing backpack bends over rows. Make sure that it's heavy and let's dive right into the form. And you know that backpack that I was telling you about earlier that you want to be pretty heavy? You're going to want to do bends over rows with that. And the form to it is you want to be in a squatting position. You want to bend over, make sure your legs are just a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. You're going to want your one hand and your other hand to grab the opposite ends of the bag. And you're going to want to lift it slowly with your elbows pointing out first to bias your lats. You don't want your elbows flaring out because you will be prone to injury when you do that. So you want to make sure that your elbows are tucked in and that your elbows pass first when you're rowing it up to your chest. You want it to be up to your belly level, up touching your stomach, and you want the negative to be very slow because that's where all the muscle's made, baby. So you want to have slow negatives and fast upward motion, all right? Those are the bent over rows, and that's the form. So since you're lifting heavy, you're going to want to have a relatively low rep range, like 6 to 10. And once that gets too easy, you can progress up to 12. And once that gets too easy, you could just add more weight. It's as simple as that. That's what you do. When it gets too easy, you just add more weight or you up the rep range and you want to go for 3 sets. Or you can even up the sets. Let's say you're doing 3 sets of 8. 3 sets of 8 gets too easy. You can do 4 sets of 8 and then 5 sets of 8. I wouldn't go past 5 sets of 8 because just listen. Just the maximum sets that you want to do is like 5 sets for an exercise, and usually a compound exercise like bent over rows or push-ups. But as I was saying, you can even lower the rest times. If 3 sets of 8, and let's say you rest for 1 minute and 30 seconds, gets too easy, you can do 1 minute rests. All right. With lifting heavy, I wouldn't recommend going to 30 seconds. I'd say the lowest you should go is 1 minute. All right. That gives your muscles enough time. It's not too long and it's not too short. So you want to aim for having a 1 minute rest time. And those are the ways that you can overload this exercise to make continuous gains. And it's what I personally use when I was doing bent over rows. You can still build a pretty good amount of gains with just doing bent over rows. I'll show you a picture of when I was just doing bent over rows. And the next exercise that I'm going to tell you is what even exploited my back gains even more, to make sure that my back develops nicely and to build an aesthetic back. The next exercise that I'm going to be talking about is the exercise that I do now. And all you need is a door frame pull-up bar, or if you don't have a door frame pull-up bar like me, you're just going to need a strong ass door. And you're going to need a towel because your hands are going to fucking hurt if you don't use a towel. And the exercise that I'm going to be talking about, if you haven't guessed already, are door frame pull-ups. So remember the towel that I was talking about earlier? You're going to want to put it on top of your door. You want to have it close to the edge of the door where it's about to close. So it kind of like wedges it in and you don't like swing back and forth like a little monkey. And it makes it more sturdier and it's easier on your hands. You're going to want your arms to be slightly wider than shoulder width apart. So for pull-up form, you're going to want to decompress your scapula. You'll see in the video that I'm showing you what you want to do. You want to push your shoulders down. You don't want them to be up and tense. You want to push them down. This is what's going to activate your lats and your upper back. And when you're about to go in the upward motion, you want it to be relatively fast, but not too fast to the point where you're compromising good form. And when you're going down, you're going to want it to be relatively slow. And a bonus tip that I would like to give you is that you're going to want to crisscross applesauce your legs so that it biases your back even more when doing door frame pull-ups to make sure that you're hitting all the targeted muscles. So that's what you're going to want to do. And if you want to progressively overload this, you're going to want to use a backpack. I wouldn't say make it as heavy as you would for bent over rows because it does put more emphasis on your back. Pull-ups are the king of back exercises. So you're going to want to add a little bit weight each time as it gets easier. You can lower the rest times like 1 minute or even to 30 seconds, but I'd recommend just sticking with 1 minute and have an extremely good form. If you can do 12 pull-ups, I would then suggest either adding more resistance, i.e. adding more weight, lowering the rest time if it's not lowered already, or you can increase the set by 1. Simple as that. And I want you, because you're probably a beginner, to start off with jumping negatives. If you cannot do a pull-up, and trust me, I've been there, you're just going to want to jump, grab onto your door. At the peak of a pull-up, make sure your scapula is decompressed, and you're going to want to go slow on the downward motion. And once that gets too easy, then you can move on to door pull-ups. And when you can do door pull-ups, I'd suggest doing 5 reps to start off with. And then once that gets too easy, every week, I want you to increase the rep range by 1 or 2, all right? And that's how you progressively overload pull-ups. Listening to the advice in this video, my advice will get you an aesthetic back. It will build you a sexy, juicy back at home without a gym pass, all right? And if you want to 2x your progress in your fitness journey, click the link in the description box down below. It's the new fitness program that I made, and it will do wonders for you. You get personal one-to-one access with me, and you'll get a fitness course where I go even more in depth about the exercises that will build you an aesthetic physique. And there's a program for each level of fitness, whether you're a beginner, whether you're intermediate, or whether you're an advanced and you want to push yourself even more. So you don't want to miss out now. Clicking the link in the description box down below. You're not going to want to miss out. Plus, you'll get one-to-one access with me. So click the link in the description box down below and get swole at home. All right. that'll be it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you liked and click the subscribe button and hit the bell so you don't miss an upload from me. It lets me know what videos are doing well, and it supports me as a small content creator. If you have any video ideas or topics that you want me to cover that are fitness related, leave them in the comment section down below. And yeah, peace. God bless and have an amazing day. Mwah.